Hello, 5A, and welcome back to another issue of the Talon Papers podcast. I'm Danny Sturbins.
And my name is Alexis Robinson.
And today we're going to be talking to you guys about the midterm elections. So for the first time, a lot of Falcons got to vote in the midterms. Many of them cast their first ballots, which is awesome. Important to be civic-minded, especially one of the key principles that we learn in things like Gov and Econ and all that different good stuff. So we're going to kind of break down some of the ballots. So we figured we'll start off national with you guys. And so for the national level, some of you may know that the Democrats retook the House of Representatives and now hold the majority, which splits the Congress into Senate controlled by Republican majority and House controlled by Democratic majority. So a lot is happening on the national scene. Especially with a lot of people looking into potential investigations into President Trump. As some of you may know, the House of Representatives is the one that is responsible for bringing articles of impeachment on an elected official to the Senate, and the Senate will vote on that. So a lot of people, are calling, obviously, for the impeachment of Donald Trump. And I doubt the Democrats are likely to do that to start off their control of the House, especially with the Senate majority. They would have to find a lot of circumstantial evidence, and especially with the Robert Mueller probe into Donald Trump, there's a high probability that in the next coming weeks there will be some kind of subpoena for the president, which is a big topic because the president has that executive privilege, and so he may be able. It's going to be coming into the questions the power that an executive may hold. So it'll be a pretty important, pretty exciting month ahead in the national political scene. But we're going to bring it back a little bit towards the local side of things. So, Lexi, you want to kind of tell us about what's going on with this whole governor and Senate race in Florida?
Yeah, this year is, their election this year was very notable. It was very different than normal, usual. One thing that was very important is that it was such a close race for both the governor and the Senate.
Yeah, they were pretty close races, and especially because Florida is such a battleground state in a lot of national elections. A lot of people were looking to Florida during this midterm. I mean, usually you get every once in a couple years a big kind of campaign battle, you know what I mean? We had it a couple years ago with like the 2000 election. It was the Bush v. Gore, and now we have, I guess you could call it Scott v. Nelson, and then Gilliam v. DeSantis. Yeah. And it's kind of funny because yet again the elections in Florida are coming into question, and So, because it was so close and there's such hotly contested seats, each party's going to fight till the very end for this, I don't see anyone kind of losing that drive to win these states anytime soon because this is pretty important. So, you want to talk a little bit about it?
Because of how close it is, we have a lot of volunteers working now to do the recounts, and that's a hot topic because recount is very important and it takes a very long time, but it allows for an accuracy to come through. And what's going on is people in both parties, Republican and Democrats, they're starting to fight with each other. Oh, they're going to manipulate the recount, they're going to be able to do this, and it's not going to be very valid. But really, we don't know what's really going to happen right now because right now they're still working on it and the race is very close still, and we're trying to come up with accurate results without anybody really messing with what we have going on here. And it's a very hot topic. A lot of people are saying that Republicans are going to try and hijack it and all that stuff so that we can win. But really, the only thing that will tell us what's going to really happen is just a matter of time before we find out. So.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy when something like this happens because elections happen across the country at varying levels. But of course, it seems like Florida is always the one that has come down to vote by vote where we have to recount it. And especially it's important to remember that elections like this, the recounts or the votes, what you hear on election night is not the final and that's a key thing people forget, because people, naturally, the second you start saying this person may or should not have been able to cast a ballot, and start quantifying all of that, you get into some real, you fall down the rabbit's hole, quite honestly, because, then it's who should be casting these ballots, and then you have to scrutinize each and every ballot and each and every action taken by government official leading up to the election. So it's unfortunate that it comes to this, because, it really makes Americans question the validity of their vote, and, how important it is, because they feel like they may not get an actual fair chance at voting for who they want to vote. They feel like their vote isn't, they voted and their vote counts physically, but emotionally they feel like they're left out of the election, because they think that one person won it and then the other person, didn't, because of the counting of votes. So,
on a bright side, though, voter turnout this year was very high. A lot of people were involved. I myself even went out there and got involved. And it's very good that all these people, young, old, middle-aged, everybody is starting to get involved, which is a good thing. It does lead to some chaos. But overall, it's good that everybody is getting out there and wanting their voice to be heard and taking action and doing something about it.
yeah, and I mean, it's pretty awesome to see that many civic-minded people heading to the polls. I got to be there and watch someone walking in and vote for the first time, as an American citizen, and that was pretty cool. That's an experience you never forget, because often people take advantage of voting rarely. They only care about the presidential, and a lot of people overlook the local elections like this. But I mean, look at how close this race is. If you need any other signs to know that you need to vote, then this should be your wake-up call. And I'm glad to see this, resurgence of voting. I mean, we had in Pasco County nearly 60% of all registered voters voting. And, 60%, I mean, obviously you wouldn't want to get that on a test or anything. But it's a fantastic turnout when you call for midterm elections that historically are some of your lowest numbers of people voting, and things like that. So I'm really happy for Pasco County getting out there and getting the vote in. I know across the state, across the country, there was a lot of it. I think a lot of people were feeling that whole, this is it, my morals are on the line, my values are on the line, whether Republican or Democrat. I think a lot of what motivated people to vote was their fear of changing ways of life. Whether it be you're, more on the liberal side, who is upset with, Trump administration or Republicans' actions, say, against, LGBTQ groups, or if you're a Republican who's worried that, there's going to be more actions to limit, guns, and things like that, then I think that a microcosm of all these people worried about losing the things that they hold dearest to them brought people out to the polls, which is unfortunate, because you want people to naturally just realize that this is an important part of their civic duty as an American. But it's pretty cool still that this many people showed out. Not happy about why, but
Yeah.
So that covers most of the topics that we wanted to cover with you guys today. I want to thank you guys for tuning in to another podcast of 5A High School Talent Paper. I'm Danny.
And my name is Alexis.
And we're going to be signing off. Thank you guys very much.